a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here, supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors, 80 different categories, 40 different show partners that we kind of rotate on the schedule, and they bring all types of great information and updates, just like today with Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance. We got some positive news in the insurance space. We're going to go over some of those stories here coming up with you as well. Some positive outlooks in the insurance space. Property casualty insurance is the focus on today's show, first half. Also, attorney Milly Athanason on the program with us today as well. Longtime friend of the show, also attorney Milly Athanason. Consumer Quarterback Show. Now, I want to invite you. We always do our third Thursday event. This is coming up again. It's Thursday, June 20th, 6 o'clock, over at Brio Tuscan Grill, International Plaza Mall. And that's the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thursday, June 20th, 6 o'clock. Come on over. We're going to have appetizers, food provided. There's also a open, not an open bar, cash bar. I almost did it again, Alex.
Oh, man.
Not open bar.
We're in trouble one of these days.
That means something different, doesn't it?
What? Moe, I didn't drink any Moe.
So, yeah, come on over. It's Thursday, June 20th, 6 o'clock. We're going to have a great opportunity to network, meet some of our expert contributors. We had a great time. Also, the previous turnout was great. We had people coming over and saying, hey, I've got a small business. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Great. Hey, come on in and network. Let's help each other out and help each other's businesses and get to know one another and have some fellowship there. Third Thursday, June 20th, 6 o'clock, Brio Tuscan Grill. We'll hope to see you there. Come on out and enjoy some great networking in Tampa Bay here. Now, we always like to feature our real estate listings live on air. It's part of our strategy that helps our sellers sell faster for more money, maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of their real estate properties. We got a beautiful Gulf Boulevard property. It's 18522 Gulf Boulevard. This one is in Pinellas County. Beautiful property in Indian Shores. 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,000 square feet, beachfront condo, Indian Shores. You got private 2-car parking there, granite countertops, mosaic backsplash, and plenty of updates and upgrades here at this property. Now, what I love about this home is that when you walk out the front door, you walk past your community heated pool, and it's only got, I think, about 7 or 8 units in the complete the building, so it's not a huge condo. You can short-term rent it, and it is only $250 a month as far as the HOA fees. And you walk right past the pool, and you're on the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Indian Shores, Pinellas County, 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F, Indian Shores, Florida. Beautiful $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 2156 Masters Court. We got a beautiful property here as well. Dunedin, Florida. This one is in Dunedin, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 20 square foot condo. Beautifully remodeled end unit, 2 primary suites. You have an eat-in kitchen space there, screened-in porch access, in-unit laundry. You're only 7 minutes from downtown Dunedin, 5 minutes from Honeymoon Island, and you are a quarter mile from the Pinellas Bike Trail. Community pool, Dunedin Isles Golf Club, clubhouse, restaurant, and lounge. 2156 Masters Court, Dunedin, Florida. Beautiful property. You can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. All right. Welcome back. Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance. You got some positive news for us today, I hear?
Yes, I do.
Love it.
I do. It's great to be here with you, man.
Yeah, awesome, buddy. And yeah, I love, the state legislature acted, and we knew it was going to take a little bit of time, but it seems like some of the fruits of their labor is starting to pay off.
Yeah. We had some legislation, a lot of legislation that passed in 2022 that really made a big difference. And we're starting to see the results of that, right? There have been a couple of other things that they've done since then, but that's been the majority of what was done that we're seeing the good benefits from now. So the My Safe Florida Home Program is an example of that. I just want to encourage people. I think it was refunded for sure, but in July 1st, they can start applying for grants related to that. That's at mysafeflhome.com, where you basically, for every $1 you spend, you can apply for a grant that would pay you $2 for every $1 up to $10,000 to make your home safer during a hurricane.
Okay.
So that's what that program is about. They've kind of put a pause on everything now because the money ran out. But with the new legislative session where they approved it again, July 1st, the money will be funded into that program and they can start applying online. Get impact windows, doors, garage doors, things like that.
Yeah, harden your home.
Yes. Yeah. I will say this. This is always important. Do it for the safety of the home. Some people think that if you just do this at all, you're going to save money on your home insurance, and that is not necessarily the case because according to the way that the wind mitigation inspection and roof credits goes on insurance, you have to have all your openings protected. So we've run into some people that have just gone in and put some hurricane-resistant windows in as part of the program. But your garage door, your front door, your back door, your patio door, your skylights, none of those are hurricane rated. You're not going to get any roof credits for that, and you're not going to save any money. So it's an all or nothing kind of credit. So we just want to make sure people understand that. But it's a great program designed to help people save money on their home insurance and help them make their homes more prepared for hurricanes.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's that time of year. We got to start thinking about it and preparing now. So a lot of the things I'm seeing are showing a pretty active hurricane season coming up as well, Jason.
Yeah, and that is true. All the different models from the major organizations that predict these are saying anywhere from above average to potentially record setting. There's a lot of warm water out there, and that's always going to be the concern when it comes to hurricane season. I would really encourage people. I know that there's tons of these checklists and things out there that people can do to get ready. Plenty of water, things like that. These to-go kits, and then you have enough canned goods to last you X amount of days. I want to give just 3 quick tips. These are 3 things maybe people just don't think about very much. Number one, I would say, people, not everyone out there is going to take an inventory of every single thing in their house, right? And that's what would be recommended. Write down what you have, values, and things like that. I would say bare minimum, and this is something everybody can do. If you're not that person that's going to write it all out, and do an inventory, take your phone, turn it to video, and take 15 minutes or however long it would take, and walk through your entire house. Open every drawer, open the closet, go outside and just talk through, hey, this is valued at this is valued at that. Because, we've seen some footage from Fort Myers where homes just kind of went down the road, they just washed away. Yeah. And so you don't want to be trying to argue with an adjuster about what you do and don't have. And so take a video of everything, and make sure it's got everything. Open the drawers, everything. Mm-hmm. That'd be tip number 1. Number 2, a lot of people have pets, and you want to make sure you have a to-go bag for your pet. But the one thing that people don't think about, especially if we have something really rough coming, is make sure that the shelter you've designated that you're going to go to in an emergency accepts pets. Right. Because there's a lot that don't. And so people end up trying to find that at the last minute. You don't want to be worried about that with your pet at the last minute. Yeah. And then just a simple thing, number 3, gas is always a big issue. Before we see something coming in the Atlantic or the Gulf, everybody goes to the gas stations, right? I would just an easy thing to think about is during hurricane season, which starts June 1st and goes into November, just every time you hit half a tank, fill it up. Fill it up, yeah. Don't ever have less than a half a tank of gas in your car, because that can get you a pretty good ways, if at least away from the heavy city where everyone's on, every gas station is backed up. Yep. At least get you out of town a good ways so you can get gas somewhere else. I do that because I have with my Mercedes, I have a function where I can turn the engine on, kind of get the AC rolling before I get in there. Yeah. And it's got to be a certain level. I think it might even be a quarter tank, but really, I pretty much do like that. And I get some of those, a bunch of those gallons, 5 gallon in my garage, and I've got one of the kinds that I can roll down to the Sea-Doo, that has the bigger capacity. I don't know what they hold, 20, 30 pounds. Wow, yeah. Yeah, those are just things and those are good things, having a generator, those sorts of things. But just some easy things would be what I talked about. And then on top of that, of course, make sure that you've got enough food and water to last up to a week at the bare minimum if you need to. Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Jason Mears. He's our insurance expert contributor, all things insurance related. Florida Best Quote Insurance, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we're talking about some of the positive changes. I want to switch back from the hurricane season, talk to some of the positive outlooks. You mentioned 10 companies had filed a 0% increase, or at least 8 companies have filed a rate decrease to take
effect in 2024. That's big news.
Yeah. There are certain things that we've been looking for over the last several years. People are always asking us, my rate's doubling, my rate's increasing by a third. When are we going to see some relief? And there have always been those things we look for, right? And this is one of them. Are we seeing rates decreases? Are the companies making money again? Do we have companies coming in from out of state wanting to write business? All those things are happening right now.
Yeah.
And as you just said, we do have 10 companies that for 2024 have filed a 0% rate increase. So they're not going down, but they're not going up. And then we have 8 other companies that are actually filing a rate decrease. Now, I wouldn't get all crazy about that. It's anywhere from 2.5% to 5% is what we're seeing of your premium, but that's still a decrease.
Yeah.
And was at a meeting with 2 of our larger home insurance companies, and they want to write new business, and they're doing things to write more business. We see companies taking Tesla solar panels, Tesla roofs, and increasing how, the number of companies that will take solar panels, which that's been very rough in the past. And so just a lot of the underwriting guidelines as well have been loosened a little bit.
Right.
We're seeing that with roofs and things like that. But yeah, just the simple fact that companies are decreasing or staying pat with their rates is a huge, huge win. And, I still think we're a year to year and a half away from full stabilization of the market, but these are signs that things are getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. More with Jason Mears coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking real estate, we're talking insurance, and positivity as well. A lot of good news coming up. We're going to touch on some more things that he has brought up to my attention as well, and some other positive things to think about when it comes to insurance. And we want to get into also some of the obligations, because I think this is an issue that people have when a storm comes, is you are obligated to minimize certain aspects and preserve the property. So we'll talk more about that coming up here with Jason Mears on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect at BrandonRhymes1 at CQB Show. And please check out our YouTube channel, Rumble channel as well. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
All right, we're back here in studio. Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking real estate, insurance, and hurricane prep as well on this segment here coming up on the program. I want to give a shout out to my massage therapist, Divine Balance Alternative Healing. Say hello to Christina over at DivineBalanceAlternativeHealing.com. She does a great job. Great location right here in Palm Harbor as well in Pinellas County. Massage, Reiki, Thai yoga, reflexology. They also have these enhancements. She has enhancements with hot towels, hot stones, aromatherapy, infused oils as well. Divine Balance Alternative Healing bodywork menu. It's got 90 minutes up to 120 minutes. And it's right there in Palm Harbor. DivineBalanceAlternativeHealing.com. Also on Facebook and Instagram. You can find her there. And a couple of hot listings here for this segment. We always like to feature our real estate properties on air and help our sellers sell faster for more money, maximizing the exposure and the profit. 6101 Bayside Drive. This one's in Newport Richey, Pasco County. Beautiful property. I'm sorry, Pinellas County, actually, in Tampa Bay here. 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3852 square foot. This is a waterfront beauty. You have your own private dock with access to the Gulf of Mexico, multiple balconies, and it's a gorgeous home. Lots of updates and renovations done already on this turnkey home. Quarter-acre lot, lush palm trees. You have beautiful staircase with new glass panels. 6101 Bayside Drive, Newport Richey, Florida, right here in Tampa Bay. Direct access to sandy beaches, world-class fishing, diving, water sports, and islands. And I enjoy getting out there in the waterways from time to time. It's that time of year as well to get back out and do some more boating. But enjoy that Florida lifestyle. 5642 Egret's Place, Newport Richey. We got a beautiful property here. Again, another one of my favorites. This is in Newport Richey, right around the corner from the Bayside house as well, Bayside Drive. This one's 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bath. 3,000 square feet, quarter-acre lot. You have a heated pool with a waterfall feature, fenced-in backyard, pavers, beautiful pavers, elevator access from the garage. You got your own elevator in this home. Inside laundry on the first floor. You have also gourmet kitchen, center island featuring a sink and wine refrigerator. Stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, wood cabinets, and more from this beautiful property at 5642 Egrets Place, Newport Richey, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. All right, we're talking with Jason Mears here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, kind of following up on that positive note. Do you also have the hurricane time to start thinking, planning, preparing before it's up on us? Jason, what say you, my friend?
Yeah, I think right now the good thing that I'm seeing, and there's several things, but there's some accountability that's going on in the industry, which I think is really, really positive. We've had 5 different companies that have been fined for the way that they've handled claims during Hurricane Ian. One company was fined up to $1 million, which is the most that we've ever seen from something like that. And they've come out and they've issued a statement. They want to continue to be, relied upon and those sorts of things. But I think the big thing right now is, as we think about going into the season, is just how to handle claims, because that's a lot of people are iffy on that. And I know you and I talked about this off air, but if the first step, if you've got damage in your house or damage that's occurring, the first step is to mitigate that damage. Do whatever you have to do. If you've got to get somebody to come and help, hire somebody, whatever, you don't let your house continue to receive damage if you can do anything to help that.
You got to preserve it.
Preserve it. Yeah, there's the word. So do everything you can to preserve the house at that point in time. And then the second thing is...
What does that mean, though? Let's stay on that topic.
Yeah.
Preserving it. But how do we do that? With tarps on the roof?
Yeah. Anything that needs to be done to protect the house. If that means going and buying a tarp or having a roofer come out real quickly and doing that. If it's something that takes a day or two, that's fine. You don't have to... It's not like if you don't call for that claim immediately, you're not going to be able to file a claim.
Right.
Do what you need to do on the house. You don't want the house getting worse while you're thinking it's a priority to be on the phone going over all the damage. Yeah, I'm watching my roof cave in right now.
Yeah.
That would be idiotic. So do what you have to do to preserve your home so that the damage is as small as possible.
Exactly.
And then at that point, if you've got it to where everything is kind of calm and settled, at that point I would recommend calling us as an agency, right? Call your insurance agency and just get some advice, because a lot of times you need to know, really the one main thing, you need to know what your deductible is. And if you've already, get an estimate. If you think that estimate is going to be close to your deductible, then just go ahead and pay for it.
Yeah.
Because we have people that call and for $500 worth of damage, and they filed a claim.
Yeah.
And they were basically told, well, your deductible is $2,500. That's going to cost $1,000 or $500. You just need to pay it out of pocket.
Yeah.
But that claim still happened because you called the insurance company.
So it's still on your record.
It's still showing up on your record.
It's like getting a speeding ticket or something.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I would just say, be thinking about that. And the other thing is, if your deductible, you need to know what your hurricane deductible is. It's normally 2% of your home insurance, your dwelling coverage, whatever the replacement cost of the home is. That can be a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
If you don't have that money sitting in the bank during hurricane season, it's like you don't have insurance.
Right. Yeah, that's a big choice to decide. Is like, how much do I want that to be? What can I afford? Right. Because I'm sure you've seen, and I think we talked about on the show before too, where you have situations where people just can't pay it, and then what do? I mean, you're in a limbo spot there.
Yeah, and it could be some of those homes that are sitting with tarps that have sitting with tarps on the roofs a year later.
Yeah,
right.
Down in Fort Myers, Port Charlotte.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So that's a huge important thing, and a lot of people will try to. That they've had the same home insurance policy for years, or they don't even remember what it was when they got it.
Right.
2% of your dwelling coverage is the standard, but a lot of people will go up to 5% to save money.
Right.
Because that'll let your premium go down. Mortgage companies will let you go up to 5%. And then people without mortgage companies, you're allowed to go up to 10% hurricane deductible. Well, if you've got a $500,000 home, you've got a $50,000 deductible that you've got to come out of pocket before your insurance even pays for hurricane damage.
Wow. Yeah.
So just be aware of that.
Yeah, that's tough, man. And know what zone you're in too. I think that's another key element, right? Like what zone are you in? Are you in a velocity zone, meaning like, this storm is bringing so much wind and velocity and water with it. Are you in that velocity zone? What kind of zone are you in? That's something to consider. That way you know what your evacuation plans are.
Yeah, you have your evacuation zones, and then you have like your flood zones, and so those those are two different things to be aware of, and a lot of people have no idea, right? But know what your evacuation zone is specifically, so that you'll know, when you're supposed to be out of there.
Yeah.
And we're always going to have people that want to just I'm going to ride it out no matter what. It's been 100 years since anything's come through Tampa.
Exactly.
But it, I would just say people are talking about how busy this season might be. It only takes one.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it could be the slowest season we've ever seen, but one bad hurricane can devastate the state. So you just need to be prepared no matter what. Make sure you know your evacuation zones. If you haven't thought about flood insurance, I would say that there were tens of thousands of homes in the Fort Myers area that flooded out that didn't have flood insurance.
Yeah,
so
tough, man.
So you got to be aware of that. Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're talking with Jason Mears here, Consumer Quarterback Show. He's Florida Best Quote Insurance. I'm Brandon Rhymes, Keller Williams. We're looking at, I wanted to just go over some stats here too. Interesting kind of an update on stats. Pinellas County, the latest data coming out of the Realtor Board shows you have 2662 homes available for sale. That's residential listings in Pinellas County, 2662. And you have 1769 that sold in last month, and that gives us a 66% absorption rate. And kind of similar numbers to Hillsborough. Hillsborough is actually at a 70% absorption rate. You had 2686 properties available for sale. And out of those 2686, you had 1891 that sold. That's a 70% absorption rate. Wow, that's really close, right? 2662 for Pinellas, 2686 for Hillsborough County. Pretty cool, pretty interesting. But Jason, that is our time for today. How do you want people to connect with you on your social, your web? How do you want people to connect?
Yeah, they can call me directly, 813-385-4441, or they can always email me at jason@floridabestquote.com. And I'm also on Instagram and TikTok at Florida Insurance Tips, and I'd be glad to help.
Florida Insurance Tips. Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance, longtime friend of the program. Thanks for coming in. Does a lot of education throughout the state. He travels around. He meets with a lot of agents, and he is a plethora of knowledge around the real estate, property casualty insurance, and more as well. Jason, thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Coming up, attorney Milly Athanason on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk with Milly, and she always brings great, relevant updates and legal insights into our program as a legal analyst. Consumer Quarterback Show
online at consumerqb.com.
All right, we're back here in studio. Brandon Rhymes here, your local real estate economist of choice, helping you sell, buy, and invest here in Tampa Bay. Coming up, attorney Milly Athanason back on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk personal injury law, some of the updates to statutes and other parts of that injury law, as well as a quick shout out to our friends at Heights Soft Wash. Heights Soft Wash, pressure washing company right here in Tampa Bay. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties, residential, commercial properties. HeightsSoftWash.com. HeightsSoftWash.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, before we jump into this content with attorney Milly, we're going to let you know about a couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. 4809 Portland Manor Drive. This one's in Newport Richey. Beautiful property here in Tampa Bay. Great listing to take a look at here if you're in the market in Newport Richey. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1912 square feet. It's a 55-plus Heritage Lake community. You have front porch with a front porch swing there. You can do some front porch sitting. You have hardwood floors flooded with natural lighting. Kitchen with a tray ceiling fan, abundant cabinet space, large breakfast nook. Florida ceiling windows. Beautiful property. Lots of natural light. No backyard neighbor right here in beautiful Newport Richey area. Now, for the community, you have a heated pool, clubhouse, bocce ball, shuffleboard, tennis courts, and pickleball courts as well. Very popular sport now. 4809 Portland Manor Drive, Newport Richey, Florida. Another one of our hot real estate listings from the Platinum MVP team. All right, 3101 Archer Road, Old Archer Road, that is, in Gainesville, Florida. Where are my University of Florida Gators? Where are the Gator fans at? Because we got some pre-construction pricing for you, only for a limited time. You're getting 10% off retail right now. Now, these units start from $400,000 to $900,000 in the high 900s. This is pre-construction luxury condos, 90 units that we have listed in Gainesville, Florida. 3101 Old Archer Road, Unit 209, Gainesville, Florida. Now, think about this. If you're a parent, you got a kid going away to school, going to go to the University Florida, or maybe going to Santa Fe Community College, you might want to go ahead and invest and buy a unit and rent it out. There's no rental restrictions here on this beautiful luxury condo building. It is EB-5 approved, so you got the EB-5 visa opportunity. You're only a mile and a half from the University of Florida, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, some great tailgating, partying, and football games there, basketball, great sports programs, high-end luxury amenities in the building. You got a resort-style, temperature-controlled pool accompanied with cabanas and grills, gourmet chef kitchen in the clubhouse overlooking the pool, spacious business center, and private theater room. Check out 3101 Old Archer Road, Unit 209, Gainesville, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. All right, Attorney Milly Athanason back on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Milly, I appreciate you always bringing these updates to us, to the audience. And there's some new stuff going on in personal injury law here.
Well, yes, I know last week we touched a little bit on where you need to go seek medical attention within 14 days of the accident. And that would be in order to keep your PIP benefits or your personal injury protection benefits intact. But I also wanted to reiterate some of the other changes that occurred last year when Governor DeSantis signed some new laws. And the big one is what we call the statute of limitations. And what that means is statute of limitations is the amount of time you have to bring an action against somebody that you feel has done something wrong to you. So in a negligence case where somebody has hit you and caused injury to you, we used to have a 4-year statute of limitations. So you had the accident, you had plenty of time to, hire an attorney and figure out what you wanted to do with everything. You don't have that kind of time anymore. Now the statute of limitations has been shortened to 2 years. And that was because the insurance companies were complaining that people weren't getting any treatment, and then all of a sudden they would wait till 3 years gone by to file a lawsuit, and it forced insurance companies to have to incur a lot of defense costs, which would have been passed on to the consumers and such. So nonetheless, the governor signed into law a bill that basically says the statute of limitations is 2 years. And it's 2 years from the date of the accident, not 2 years from the date you discovered that you're in pain. So, the date of the accident is today. You have 2 years from today to file the lawsuit. And I think that's a really important fact, because that means that you need to arm yourself with an attorney to be aggressive and fight for what is right for you, and not to let that opportunity pass you by.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely want to be aggressive, especially when you're dealing with insurance companies, because they're going to have their team that's looking to minimize the claim. And we want you working with Millicent B. Athanason, P.A. That is the business name. We call her Milly Athanason. Milly, can you give us a recent success story or a situation that you've been in and you've kind of seen where these types of scenarios have played out?
Well, yes. I mean, we see a lot of issues with insurance coverage that come up, where insurance companies will try to deny a client coverage, or they'll try to lowball their own insured for what they're due on an accident. And we've had many clients come to us where they thought to themselves, oh yeah, well, the adjuster called me at home and they said that they would work with me, and then they offer some piddly amount, like $2,000. And of course, most consumers don't realize whether that's a fair settlement or not. So they just accept it sometimes, but a lot of them, and I'm hoping that most people will come and talk to us and find out whether or not that is a legitimate offer. Chances are it probably isn't.
Right.
And so, talking to an attorney and being represented by an attorney, you're going to make more money than if you sit there and try to do it yourself. And the good thing when you hire an attorney in a personal injury situation is it's a contingency fee. which means that if we don't win, we don't make a recovery for you, you don't pay us anything. So it's absolutely no risk to the consumer to come in and talk to us about the circumstance and let us do what we do best, and that is process your insurance claim for you. And, I do my own litigation. I don't farm it out. You'll see a lot of people out there that they don't want to see the inside of a courtroom to save their lives. And we do our own litigation. So, in other words, if somebody comes in to see me and the insurance company is trying to jerk people around, we have no problem and will often file suit for our clients in order to get the best settlement for them. Because, injuries have value, and, we constantly read and see what's going on around the state to make sure that the numbers are in line with what's happening. And, we're not going to let anybody take advantage of our clients.
Yeah, I like that. You got to be aggressive these days, and these companies are they're trying to minimize claims. We've seen it in the homeowners insurance side. We've seen challenges there, and then and of course in personal injury. I've heard some cases where there's been situations where they're offered a very low amount. They fire that attorney and they go to a new attorney, and the attorney gets them about, I think it was like $700,000 more on the one example that I heard before. So if you just joined us, we're talking with Milly Athanason. Millicent B. Athanason, PA, is the business name. Law Office of Millicent B. Athanason. Longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. She's been a longtime legal analyst and expert contributor on our Consumer Quarterback Show. So we greatly appreciate that. And, Milly, what else are you seeing out there in the personal injury world?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit, too, about the standard. It used to be that we were a pure comparative negligence state, which basically meant that if you were 90% at fault, you can make a recovery against the at-fault party for the 10% of that party's negligence. Well, as of last year, the governor signed into law that we are now a modified comparative negligence state. And what that means is that if the plaintiff is more negligent than the defendant, then the plaintiff can't recover anything. So basically, if the plaintiff is more than 50% at fault, they can't make any recovery. So that's definitely changed, and it's limited the amount of suits that we can file, because obviously that gap where we could have sued even if the plaintiff was 80% at fault, we can no longer do. So we definitely now we have to analyze, we have to make sure we collect our evidence early. So that's why it's so important to come in and see us right when you have the accident, because over time things dim. So you want to make sure that we have your pictures, that we know who the witnesses are so that we can obtain statements from them. Because a lot of people that witness accidents may be from out of state or they move. So we definitely want to make sure that we see the people immediately so that we can gather the evidence and have it in our arsenal to fight for you. And obviously, if you have bruises and such, those things heal over time. So again, if we don't have the photographic evidence of these types of damages, then they can go by the wayside. We like to get pictures of the car. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. Having said that, my point being is that it's really important when you have an accident to please contact an attorney and make sure that the rules are being followed. Make sure.
Okay, I think we might have some dead air there with Milly Athanason. We've lost her connection there, but I'll give her number out because she's got a really memorable number. It's 833-ASK-MILLY. 833-ASK-MILLY for Milly Athanason. She is a personal injury lawyer here in Tampa Bay, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. By the way, you can also reach out to the Consumer Quarterback Show's hotline at 727-263-3707. You can call or text the hotline. Anything you heard about on today's show, Jason Mears was our insurance expert contributor. We're talking about things happening in the property casualty space and hurricane awareness. And we also are talking with Milly Athanason, 727-263-3707. You can call that hotline or 833-ASK-MILLY. We're actually going to take a quick break here since we're right in half segment here. We're going to come back and talk more with Milly Athanason, more about personal injury law and other areas of her practice, what she's doing. And I also want to ask her, how important is it when you're talking and you're speaking to the deputy on the scene and the potentially state trooper that's going to be on scene? What do you say, what not to say coming up here? We're going to have some tips from Milly Athanason on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, back here in studio, we're talking with attorney Milly Athanason. We're talking about the personal injury law, some of the updates to the statutes of limitations. And before we jump back into that great conversation, I wanted to give a shout out and also to talk about a couple of our listings here in Tampa Bay. We got a new listing at 2790 Pinellas Point Drive South. This one's in St. Petersburg, Pinellas County. The absorption rate, by the way, is 66% in Pinellas County. So properties are still selling. There are some challenges. We are seeing a record number of price improvements, but this one's a beautiful home. 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2236 square feet. Culinary enthusiasts will delight in the fully renovated kitchen, open floor plan, moments from award-winning beaches, beautifully landscaped, great opportunity to own real estate right here in Tampa Bay. 2790 Pinellas Point Drive, South, St. Petersburg, Florida. 7919 New York Avenue in Hudson. This one's in Hudson and Pasco County. You get a lot of value up there as well. Property at 7919 New York Avenue in Hudson, Florida. We got a great opportunity to own real estate right here in Tampa Bay. You can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. And a quick shout out to our friends at Hours Creole. Had a great party there. We had our third Thursday gratitude party there last week. Alex was the host. Alex, did that seem like that was a good time over there, right?
Oh man, it was amazing. We had excellent food. So for the first time in my life, I had fried green tomatoes.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Fried green tomatoes.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be at a point in my life where I would eat fried green tomatoes, but here I am.
There you go.
And Douglas, I don't know what he does, man, but he took something that I would probably never eat and made it amazing. I'm actually kind of my mouth's watering thinking about it right
tasty.
now.
Yeah, I had some good bone marrow there the other day. Thinking about things you wouldn't eat, like he served it with a piece of steak. With the bone marrow, and you dip that out, you put it on the steak. Oh, so good.
And look at that, we're still talking about it. You know, so I mean, that's when you know food is good, when it's like, dude, it's been weeks and we're still talking about it.
Hours Creole, check them out. Tarpon Springs. If you haven't been there, you really got to check them out. Excellent food, New Orleans style food. Tarpon Springs. Shout out to Doug and his team. All right, attorney Milly Athanason. Milly, I don't know if you caught that question as I was going into break, but kind of my question would have been, how do you interact with law enforcement when you're on the scene of an accident?
That is an excellent question, Brandon. First thing is to be honest. You don't want to look like you're being uncooperative, because then the officer may get suspicious as to, what are you trying to hide, kind of a thing. So you want to be honest. You want to be accurate and polite, but you only want to give the necessary facts. Don't give or don't guess or estimate on things. If you don't know the answer to the question, you don't know the answer to the question. You want to be brief and succinct in your responses. You want to carefully word your answers, and you don't want to at any point refer to your own potential blame or fault. For example, you don't want to sit there and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for everything that happened."
Right.
Well, if you're not at fault, why would you be apologizing for everything that happened? That is not, you want to be careful and just recite the facts, such as, I was at the stoplight and they rear-ended me, or whatever the circumstances are, but just brief and succinct. If the officer has additional questions, they will ask you. I mean, keep in mind, they're going to walk around and look at the damage to the vehicles to see if the damage is plausible in line with the story that each person is giving. Make sure that you tell them if you are wearing your seatbelt. You want to make sure that it's notated on the report that you were wearing your seatbelt. You want to and avoid any other incriminating language. So, sometimes if you say, well, I never even saw that other car coming at all, that can, people can infer that maybe you weren't paying attention. But honestly, if the car came from out of nowhere and hit you, that would be a different situation. But obviously, we all have a duty to keep proper lookout when we're driving. So you don't want to say stuff like that you were distracted in some way, or that you were blaring your radio or texting on your phone or what have you. And you also want to keep your attorney's information, either if it's not stored in your phone, if you have a business card, keep it in your glove box with your registration, so that when you are in an accident, you don't have to panic. You just make a phone call, and we will guide you through the rest of what you need to do. Make sure that you're getting the proper care. Make sure that your car is properly taken care of and removed from the scene, and so forth.
Yeah, it's smart. It's smart. You got to do that. You got to make sure you're documenting everything, photos, and just being very careful with what you say. And, document. We're talking with attorney Milly Athanason on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking personal injury law today. Now, what other areas of personal injury law outside of the typical road accident? What are you seeing? Are you seeing stuff happening at employers, slip and falls, maybe fights outside of a restaurant or a club?
Yes. We do see that. Now, I don't do workers' compensation, so if you were injured on the job, that is typically not something that I would handle. But if you were injured in an automobile accident while you were either going to work or coming home from work, that would be different. But having said that, yes, we do see slip and falls, and we also, see fights and things that happen at different business establishments. Now, keep in mind with the new law, if the plaintiff is more than 50% at fault, the plaintiff can't recover anything. So that's why evidence and documentation and contacting an attorney early on is so important. Because, like, for example, with a slip and fall, we need to know what you slipped on. We need to know how long that substance has been there. We need to know if the business owner either knew or should have known that there was something on the floor, and what steps were there, what safety precautions and measures that they have in place. So again, if we don't have this information, because I've had people come in to see me and say they slipped on something, they have no earthly idea what they slipped on or if there was anything on the floor. And if they come to me later and there's no videotape footage or anything like that, then it's an anomaly. Nobody knows. How can I prove what was on the floor that they slipped on?
Right. Yeah, anytime I hear slip and fall, I can't help it, but I think about that movie Friday. Do you remember that scene? kind of a goofy scene, but that's good branding right there. I mean, that's Ice Cube. That's some good branding from back in the day, man. Gosh, that was in '96 or something. But anyway, sorry to interject that silly thought there, Milly. But we got about a minute and a half left for you.
No, so the main thing is that I want to share is to please contact an attorney early on. The longer you wait, the more evidence that dissipates, and it makes it harder for us. The insurance companies are wanting to litigate more now because of the new comparative negligence standard. So we want to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row. If everything is in a row, it's more likely that you're going to get a very favorable settlement without going to court. If not, if the more questionable and elusive things are, then the more likely that you're going to have to take it to a jury. So please contact me immediately when you have an accident.
And I love the phone line. I love the 833 Ask Milly. I think that's great branding as well. 833 Ask Milly. And how else do you want them to connect?
It's also 727-376-9100, and our offices are in Holiday and Spring Hill in Orlando.
All right, Holiday, Spring Hill, Orlando, 833 Ask Milly. You can also reach out to our hotline, the 727-263-3707. You can call or text that in case you have it saved in your phone. And if you don't have it saved, you might as well lock it in. We've got great referrals for you for attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, home service providers, self-defense experts, and so many more categories. Milly, thank you so much. Great content there today.
Having me.
My pleasure. All right, we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community, and go out there and do something kind. Follow us online. We'd love to connect at Brandon Rhymes 1 at CQB Show. Subscribe to the YouTube and Rumble channels. Greatly appreciate that. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.